Okay, so recently I went to Japan, and as a watch lover, once you go to Japan, you kind of have to look for watches, right? I mean, honestly, there's so many options to look at. I mean, to be honest, like, Japan's a place to buy all sorts of great things. They have so many options for everything out there, for secondhand stuff, for new stuff, for, camera gear, all sorts of tech stuff. They have it there. So once you're in Japan, you kind of have to just, if you don't shop for things, it's kind of like, why are you there, right? I mean, there's also a lot of great things to look at, but shopping is also one of those things that you kind of have to do once you're in Japan. But if you want to buy like used watches and like used Swiss watches, it's a great place to do it because especially if you want to buy secondhand, Japan is one of those places that they have like pristine condition items, secondhand items. They always keep it in like the perfect condition. I was originally going to look for a secondhand Swiss watch, but unfortunately even a secondhand Swiss watch is a little bit out of my price range. So I ended up going with the JDM Japanese market. If you guys don't know, Japan has a lot of watches that are not only Japanese made, but also they only release them to the JDM or Japanese domestic market, which means that they don't actually come to places like North America. They don't come here. You can definitely import it over, but then you're gonna have to pay for like import fees and like taxes and all that. So probably better to just get it once you're there on vacation. So this one is one that I'm very excited to show you guys because this watch is like, it's such a beautiful watch. And honestly, it was such a spontaneous purchase for me. I didn't expect to get this watch or, even look at this watch. I was there looking for some other watches and I just happened to come across this one, and the dial on this watch just captivated me so much that I just had to pick it up. Previous to this, I also made a video talking about a Casio watch that I also purchased in Japan. Feel free to click the link up in the top here to take a look at that video. That's also a great watch at a fantastic price. So the value of that watch is amazing. I had to pick that one up as well, but feel free to check that video out to look at that one. But for this one, I'm looking at this watch right here. This is a watch that is a collaboration between Seiko and J.Press. Honestly, I had no idea what J.Press was before buying this watch. Afterwards, I looked it up, and apparently J.Press is a fashion clothing company. They make a lot of like vintage style of clothings, and this collaboration, works very well for that because this watch, the dial on this watch is super vintage looking and as well as super classy. So we're gonna take a look at that. Once you unbox it, you realize that it says made specially for J.Press. Really nice there. You have the papers, microfiber cloth, and then there you go. This is the watch. It is such a gorgeous watch. I mean, I'm going to show you guys a close-up of it right now. Let me zoom into the camera here for just a second. Yeah, there you go. Such a beautiful dial on this watch. It is so gorgeous. Like immediately when I saw this, it captivated me immediately. Like I don't even know how to explain it, but it was like it just drew my eye in, and I just had to pick this one up. So the reference number for this watch is SBSA317. This is part of Seiko 5's new lineup of SNXS series of watches. This one is in collaboration with J.Press. This one is a limited run of only 500 pieces, but there's also a few other models in this line as well. There's the SBSA255, which is the full black dial version. There's the SBSA253, which is the full blue dial version. There's also a champagne dial and also a yellow gold dial as well. I can't remember what those reference numbers are, but I believe those ones are also available in North America under the SRPK reference numbers. So those ones may not be JDM. This one is just a JDM model. This is the J.Press collaboration. Again, this one is only available in limited quantities of 500 pieces. So yeah, I got this watch for about 50, actually no, it's a little bit under 56,000 yen. So converted to Canadian after like some tax-free and also some discounts, it came to about under $500 Canadian. The other models that aren't limited run, those ones come to about 400 Canadian, give or take. So this one's a little bit more expensive at 500. I mean, the beautiful thing about this watch is definitely this amazing champagne sunburst dial with the gold hands and the gold indices. And it just looks gorgeous. So the gold indices are sitting on this black track that's close to the outside perimeter of the watch. The day date window is also framed with a matching gold frame as well. And this gold combination, the indices, the hands, this gold frame around the date window, it just adds that extra sparkle to this watch that just looks so gorgeous, stands out so well, and it's just such a such a captivating look with this watch. Super vintagey looking, super 70s looking, but yeah, I mean, that dial is just really, really amazing. There are lume dots around the outer perimeter on all of the hour markings, and there's also lume on the hour hand and also the minute hand, but none on the second hand. This case is a stainless steel case. It has brush finishing on the top and also on the sides, but on the bezel and on the chamfered edge here, this is polished finishing. It looks really gorgeous. The combination looks really nice. It has a 4 o'clock crown that's kind of tucked away with no crown guards. A lot of the Seiko 5 models have this sort of design where it's sort of tucked away and kind of maintains that nice slim form factor and the nice silhouette of this case, which is really nice. It has a Heartlex crystal, and a lot of people, obviously don't like Heartlex crystal. I am somebody who also prefers to have sapphire, but of course, at this price range, a Seiko 5 Heartlex crystal is to be expected. Now, Heartlex crystal isn't so bad. I mean, people expect it to be like really horrible, but it depends on how you wear your watch. It might incur some scratches, but is honestly not so bad. One thing to note is that this watch has an amazing dome crystal. I mean, if you guys know me, I love dome crystals on watches. It just gives the watch such a classy feel. I feel like it just makes the watch look so much higher end, in my opinion. I also love the fact that it creates all these distortions, single dome crystal on the watch, which makes gives the watch all these distortions when you look at it on the side. And I guess visibility wise, legibility wise might be a little bit not as good, but honestly, I just love that distortion that it makes when you look at it on the side. But again, going back to my point about the Heartlex crystal, because this is a dome crystal, it's a very slight dome, not a very aggressive dome, but it is a dome crystal, which means that the top part will be more exposed to, the outer elements, right? So if you do bump it or whatever, there's a chance that the center outer part right here, right in the middle there, might incur some scratches over time. So keep in mind, because this is not a sapphire crystal. On the side of the case, you can see that there are drilled lugs. So that would be very easy for strap changing. One thing to note about this watch is that it does have an amazing, I shouldn't say amazing, but it has a pretty good bracelet, right? So it has, first of all, solid end links on this bracelet, which is something that honestly is a little bit rare, I think, on Seiko 5s. I feel like a lot of Seiko 5s, in my experience, a lot of times they have these really jangly hollow bracelets, hollow link, hollow end links, and it's just like super jangly. And I mean, this one is a little bit jangly, yes, but I mean, at least it has solid end links. It has solid links. I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking back in the 90s, maybe times have changed, but yeah, I mean, to get a Seiko 5 with, a pretty good bracelet is surprising to me. The clasp is still a stamp clasp. Again, to be expected. No surprise there. I mean, the benefit is that stamp clasp does fit pretty flat on the wrist, or I should say under the wrist. It doesn't bulge out as much as a milled clasp. And then the micro adjustment is just 2 instead of 3. So that's something to consider. I was able to get a good fit on my wrist. My wrist is 6 inches, sometimes 6.25. So the nice thing about fit though for small wrist people like myself is that this watch does have removable links for all of the links. So you can see here, every single link has that, pin and collar system, which is, it is what it is as well. Again, for this price range, to be expected, but every single link has that push pin to remove that link. So that's, very surprising. I mean, that's not something that I personally see on a lot of watches. A lot of them give you maybe 7 or 6 links that you can remove. And for small wrist people like myself, again, my wrist is about 6 inches. Sometimes it is a little difficult to get the perfect fit for my wrist because there's just sometimes not enough links to remove. I typically remove all the links on my watches, but I can imagine if your wrist is a little bit smaller than mine, or maybe like a female wrist, for example, it might be a little bit difficult. So the nice thing about this is that you can remove all the links. So you can just really have at it, remove as many as you want, no big deal. But a watch this small, I really don't imagine this to be a big issue in terms of fit for a lot of wrists out there. This watch comes in at about 37 millimeters or 38 millimeters, give or take. So it's a very small watch. I honestly, like, even if it's 38 millimeters, I feel like this wears smaller than that. So honestly, I don't feel like it's gonna be a problem with fit anyways. It has female end links, which is really amazing. I love that. Smaller people, we love female end links. So again, fit, I don't think it's going to be an issue for really anybody, but let me go get my calipers because I forgot once again, and then I will give you guys some measurements. All right, here we go. So as you can see, I'm a huge noob at these watch videos. I always forget to bring these calipers out whenever I start these videos, so had to go and grab them. So anyways, let's get you guys some measurements here. So case side to side or edge to edge, we have 37.2 millimeters. And if we want to include the crown, the crown of the watch, so if we go edge to the crown, it is 39.1 millimeters. If we go lug to lug, which is my most important dimension, because again, as a small watch person, this is the one we have to always consider. It's 44.1, so it fits incredibly well for my wrist. The thickness of it is 12.8 millimeters, and then the lug width is should be 18. Yeah, around 18.3, give or take, millimeters. And then this bracelet goes from 18 millimeters down to 15.8 millimeters at the end of the bracelet, and then the clasp is 17.5 millimeters. And if you guys were observant when I unboxed this watch, it also comes with a nice little goodie, which is basically a second bonus strap. So we have the links here that I removed, and they also have this second bonus strap for you to switch out if you so desire. And here we go. So this is a nice little, like, it looks kind of like a crocodile strap, but this is supposed to be a calf leather strap. It's quite nice. I mean, I wouldn't say this is like world class or anything, but you know, it is pretty nice. It works. I'm not a huge strap person, so for me, probably won't be using this very often. Maybe I'll switch it out one day when I'm kind of bored, but overall, like, yeah, I mean, it's not really a strap person myself, so we'll see. But yeah, it's a pretty nice strap. It's okay. It works well, works pretty nicely, not too stiff, so that's good. It comes in at 18 millimeters, tapers down to 15.8 millimeters at the end of the strap, and then the buckle is 20 millimeters. So there you go. So nice little bonus with this limited edition version. I'm pretty sure that if you don't get this limited edition version, it doesn't come with the extra strap. I'm pretty sure. But going back to this watch is 100-meter water resistance. It's supposed to be anti-magnetic as well. And this watch runs on a 4R36 movement, which is basically the NH36 movement. Nothing amazing, but definitely a solid movement, appropriate for this price range. It has an exhibition case back. Yes, it does. It has an exhibition case back. So you can see the movement here, but it does have this J.Press logo. It's basically a black J.Press logo that's kind of over top of everything, but it is slightly translucent. So maybe I can do a close-up of it later on, but it's slightly translucent, so you can still see the movement on the inside, because honestly, an NH36 movement isn't something to like really pretty to look at. So, I mean, even if they cover it up, I wouldn't really mind it so much, but it is a nice little addition to have the J.Press logo to show it's a limited edition run watch and a collaboration watch. But at the same time, you can kind of see little bits of the movement on the inside. Just adds a little bit of interest to this case back here. One thing that I do want to note is that I was actually quite, in a way, disappointed to see that my J.Press logo wasn't oriented, this way, top down. It's oriented this way. I have seen a few other ones. I have been to a few stores when I was in Japan, and I saw a few of these watches in a few stores after I purchased mine. And I saw a few of them. Some of them were oriented this way, like top down this way, which should be the correct way of orientation. If you look at the the stock photos that Seiko released on their website and whatnot. They are, this orientation, but mine unfortunately is this way. And even at this orientation, it's not fully 90 degrees like this. It is slightly crooked to this side. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but it's slightly like this way. And it just kind of bugs me a little bit. I'm an OCD person, and stuff like this is a little bit annoying. I asked them about it, and they're like, "Oh, it's not really a defect. It's just sometimes the threading is not exactly precise, and so therefore this happens." And so, I was hoping to get an exchange, but they wouldn't do it. So unfortunately, that's that. But yeah, anyways. A little minor thing that you guys might come across if you do order this online. You may not get one that is like perfectly like on the in this orientation. It may be slightly this way, maybe slightly this way or whatnot, and it's just, anyway, it bugs me. Maybe it doesn't bug you guys. In terms of Lume, I can't really show you guys here what I've realized, that the only place I can successfully show you guys a Lume shot is in my bathroom. So I'm gonna insert a shot of me inside the bathroom showing you what the Lume looks like. But basically, it's all on the outer edge of these of this watch with the dots, and also on the hour and the minute hand. When I was in Japan, I honestly saw this watch in quite a few stores. I mean, it wasn't like, supposedly it's brand new, so maybe because it was new, that's the reason why it was available in so many places as I went to different stores and looked around. Maybe it's the fact that, I'm sure Seiko does a lot of these like collaborations with other brands and stuff like that, so this may not be anything new, so maybe people just didn't really like run out and get it immediately. It could be that as well. I'm not too familiar, but it was a nice little pleasant surprise for me to just so happen to be there, for this watch to just come out, being a limited model, and I just kind of had to grab it because mostly of this amazing looking dial. Oh, a few other things to note. This watch, again, with the NH36 movement, or 4R36 movement, it does have hand winding, it does have hacking, and once you pull it out to the furthest position, it does stop the second hand. But then the hand winding is in the furthest position in. So like basically once you close the watch up, that's the position where you hand wind. So with this tiny little dial, again, with this design where it's tucked away in the little corner there at the 4 o'clock position, it is a little tricky to hand wind this watch. If you guys have big hands, big fingers, for example, this may be a little bit difficult for you to do. For me, not a big deal. But even for me, it's a little like hard to grab onto. But if you guys have big hands, this might be a little difficult. So something to look out for. And last but not least, let's just do a quick wrist shot. Of course, we gotta do that. I almost forgot. There you go. That's the watch on my dinky little 6-inch wrist, sometimes 6 1/4 on a good day. But yeah, there you go. Something about it also looks very Japanese as well. I mean, that's the reason why I kind of kept the day on the kanji, or the Chinese lettering, just because I just feel like there's something about this watch that also looks super Japanese. Maybe it's the colorway, maybe it's the two-tone of the black and the champagne, but something about it just looks super Japanese, so I decided to keep it with the Japanese day. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like this watch? Do you guys feel like this watch has a nice style, or do you guys think this looks absolutely horrendous? I'm curious to know what you guys think. But yeah, until next time, bye-bye.